God. Let's go, huh? Let's go.
All righty. Welcome, everybody, to a very quick and very urgent Bolts and Colts episode. We are a mere 10 to 15 minutes away from the kickoff of the playoff game between the Indianapolis Colts and the Buffalo Bills. We haven't recorded in a few weeks, but we really wanted to at least have a touch point here before the game. So welcome, Mr. Brian Riley. How are you today, sir?
Brian, I'm ready. I'm excited. Thanks again. This is going to be a fun day for me. I told you earlier before we started, I initially started out the day in my Andrew Luck jersey, you know, my white Colts Andrew Luck jersey. I think Andrew Luck, one of my favorite players of all time. I thought he was one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the league. My wife kind of didn't see it that way. She has a different perspective on that. However, I changed my mind a little bit. I went with the traditional blue Bob Sanders jersey today as I watch these shitbirds in Buffalo. And the Bills Mafia on my TV today. It should be a fun, interesting game.
It is an interesting game, and we're going to do like a quick 5-minute sort of take on this game. But obviously, playing the Buffalo Bills, of the draws that they could have gotten for this weekend, some people don't like this draw. I feel like it's sort of the lesser of multiple evils here. I did not want to see them have to play the Steelers again in the first round, simply because I think the Steelers are in their head after that sort of fall apart game that they had against them. I think with the Bills, it's going to come down to one thing, and that is whether or not the defense of the Colts can rattle Allen enough to throw him off of his game. Now, he's just as dangerous outside of the pocket, maybe more dangerous than he is inside of the pocket. But to me, whether or not the Colts can slow down this offense is going to be the determinant in this game. Because I think from an offensive standpoint, the Colts are going to score 21 to 28 points. And so, but as we saw, I think they dropped 56 last week. The Bills offense can score a ton. But my thing is, like, it's just going to come down to whether or not Indianapolis is going to be able to slow them down. And obviously having a good running game on the part of the Colts, keeping the ball for a long period of time, all of that stuff helps. But to me, it's going to come down to, can the defense of the Colts cause a couple of turnovers, and can they really bring the heat? That's what it comes down to for me. What is your key to today's game as far as game plan goes?
So listen, I think you touched on it. I don't know if the Bills have seen a faster defense than they are going to see today. Now, I know, listen, Allen was my MVP of the year. I think Josh Allen is an amazing player. I think he deserves the MVP. I think what he's done for this franchise, for the city, has been unbelievable. Now, I do think I saw the Bills play the Cardinals out here, and they got beat by the Cardinals, and the Cardinals are horrible.
Yep.
Their defense is not as fast or as good as the Colts. Kyler Murray can run, but he's not as good of a NFL quarterback as Phillip Rivers is yet. So what I'm looking for, Brian, and I obviously don't want to wish any injuries on anybody, but if Josh Allen starts running the ball, he's going to get hit. He's going to get hit often because they're just as fast as Josh Allen is on that defensive side of the ball. So I think if we pop Josh Allen a couple times in his face, hopefully he gets, I don't know, broken ankle, something. I don't know, something we can knock Josh Allen out of the game with. I'm all for. I don't want the guy to get like an ACL injury, but the Colts D has to pop him in the face time and time again. That's how we win this game. And I think if the Colts, because listen, you and I have texted all year during Colts games. I think they've put together maybe 2 or 3 full first to fourth quarter games, and their defense was included in that. And when they put a full game together, no one beats the Colts.
Agreed.
If they do a full game today, they're going to beat the Bills.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what it's going to take for them to win today. I'll go back to what you just said about the physicality of the defense. Injury aside, I 100% agree that their ability to be physical with Josh Allen, their ability to be physical at the point of contact with every running back, with every receiver, knocking guys around. They have to bring the hammer on every single play today, especially in the first half, because they got to get in the head of the Buffalo Bills offense.
Yes.
We've seen it all year long in terms of playing a complete game. The second half is about not taking your foot off the gas, not getting soft on defense, not letting them get chunk plays up and down the field. Like, you got to be aggressive all game long. This is the last game of the season unless you win. So it's got to be 100% full throttle, nonstop, all game. And here's the other thing, and I know this scares the hell out of a lot of Colts fans. Phillip Rivers is going to have to throw the ball today.
Yep.
If you think that they're going to walk in there and run Taylor 27 times for 200 yards, I don't see that happening today. And I know that the Bills have game planned for that, and I know that the Bills' game plan is to put the ball in Phillip Rivers' hands. So Phillip Rivers, at some point in this game today, is going to have to step up and make big plays. And
I agree.
I hope to God that he makes them, because not just for me as a fan of Phillip Rivers over his career, but if this is Phillip Rivers' last game, I want him to have one to go out on, and if it's not Phillip Rivers' last game, I want him to finally get the credit that he deserves for where the Colts are this season. And so either way, I really, really, I hope for anybody on that field today, I hope that he has a good game. Now, if he doesn't, that's going to put more pressure on the defense to cause turnovers. If he throws a couple of picks early, the defense is going to have to bring it even harder. So to me, I'll go back to what I said before. It is going to hinge on the ability of the defense to get home today, to hit hard today, and to cause turnovers today. And if they could do that, then the Colts are going to be in it at the end of that game. And like you said, 4 quarters of complete football, I put the Colts up against anybody in the NFL.
Yeah. Listen, I think one thing that we have not touched on is Rodrigo. Like, Rodrigo the entire year has been great. Last week scared me. He missed a couple big field goals. If he does that shit today, we're not going to win. Like, we have to play a great game, but everyone's making the Bills out to be this dominant
for sure.
force. And for the last 3 weeks, they've been. But for the rest of the year, they're a beatable team. Like, I don't see the full domination on the Bills that a lot of people are seeing. Maybe I'm missing it, but there was a couple things that you talked about. I think Phillip Rivers has earned a spot to come back next year, regardless of what happens today. I think with Jacoby, they don't win as many games. They don't get into the playoffs. I think Phillip Rivers took a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know.
Maybe undue blame for whatever.
Just undue blame on the year. Like, I think a lot of those armchair quarterbacks just blamed him for a lot of shit that really wasn't his fault. In the beginning, he threw the ball around a lot. He's been pretty solid these last 6-7 weeks. Now, if he throws up a stinker, 3 picks, 180 yards, and we can get a Carson Wentz in next year, dude.
Agreed. I won't argue that. I will not argue that. What I will say, and what I saw last week from Rivers, if you remember the pick that he threw, to me, where it's a bad move is when they don't need to get greedy and they go way down the field. And that's where Rivers, to me, just doesn't have the arm strength to drop that ball where it needs to be now, as opposed to like what you saw Justin Herbert do all year this year, which is just dropping dimes 50, 60 yards down the field. That's what Josh Allen does. Rivers, that play, when it's not necessary, to me, is what hurts them. Like, I don't mind them taking shots down the field, but make them the out routes that Phillip Rivers is great at throwing. Do not go for these big chunks just because you're feeling yourself. You're feeling good. You're making some yards, so let's take a huge shot down the field. If they do it and it's successful, great, but that was what the interception was last week. It was them getting greedy when they didn't need to and throwing an interception at a really bad time. And that kind of stuff, like, you're not putting Rivers in a situation to be successful when that happens. You're not putting the offense in a situation to be successful, and you're not putting the team in a situation to be successful. That was a drive where they should have kept running the ball and throwing short passes and eating up the clock. So that kind of coaching strategy stuff, they got to be, when we say a complete football game, it is every facet of the game today, including special teams, as you mentioned, including pace of game, the whole thing. So, but we're both in agreement. The Colts can do this, and I think they have a lot better chance than everybody's giving them right now. So let's see them go out there and get that upset today. It's all in front of them right now. And the kickoff is going to happen in about 2 seconds. So give me your final thought.
It's going to happen in 2 seconds. My final thought. So obviously I'm a gambler. Like I like gambling on sports, and I follow all these opening lines. So the Colts game opened up at 7.5. They were a 7.5 point underdog, and today it closed at 6.5. So that means everyone's putting their money on the Colts today. So that is a good sign for me, not only as a gambler but a Colts fan. So. Sure. My two key players on both sides are on both teams today. I think you got to watch Diggs. Diggs is a beast. It's going to be hard to stop him, but you shut down their other weapons. Maybe let Diggs dig you out for 180 yards. Shut the rest of their team down. Diggs, hard to stop. And then on our defensive side, Leonard. I think we unleash Leonard. He's been a beast all year. I think if you unleash Leonard today and he gets to Allen and just beats his ass, I think that's a good thing for us. So I like our chances. I don't know what the outcome's going to be, but it's going to be a really fun game. I think it's going to be a high scoring. I agree with you, Brian. I think they score 3-4 touchdowns today, and we're coming down to the final play. I don't think the Bills cover this game. I think it's a close game the entire day, and if Reich gets his play calling a little straightened out, I think we're going to be good. I do. I think we have a legit shot to win this game today. I'm excited.
I'm super excited too. And with that, we are going to wrap up this episode because the kickoff is about to happen right now. We will be back to talk about the game after it happens.